Let's jump right in. Why do we keep making the exact same relationship mistakes over and over again, just with totally different people? Welcome to this explainer where we're going to dive into this painful but honestly fascinating mystery. You know the drill. You look back at your past and sure, you see different names, different faces, different stages of your life, but somehow the ending was exactly the same. The same arguments, the same disappointment, the same heartbreak. It's wild, right? I mean, ask yourself, have you ever felt like you're literally watching this same movie on repeat, just with a new cast of actors who ultimately just don't get you? You change up the people you date, but the script, it doesn't seem to change at all. And you find yourself sitting there asking, why does this keep happening to me? Why am I always choosing the person who ends up leaving? Or hey, maybe your particular question is, why do I always try to fix people who absolutely do not want to be fixed? Honestly, it feels like bad luck, or maybe even a curse, like the universe is just out to get your love life. But the really wild part here is that this pattern isn't actually out there in the physical world. The answer isn't in the partners you're choosing. The truth is kind of hard to swallow. That pattern is hidden deep inside your own heart. Because love, as it turns out, is often a mirror reflecting a story we're telling ourselves without even realizing it. So, to really understand this echo in our hearts, we need a guide. Returning to the brilliant early 20th century Swiss psychologist Carl Jung. Jung basically mapped out the human soul, and he compared our minds to a house. Up on the ground floor, you've got your conscious mind. This is where we hang out every day. It's where we make our daily decisions like, what to eat for breakfast or what to wear to work. We totally think we're the absolute masters of this house. But beneath those floorboards, that's the dark basement. This is our unconscious mind. It's hidden in the shadows, but let me tell you, it is far from empty. It holds our deepest hidden fears, our unadmitted desires, and our oldest memories. And Jung perfectly captured what's actually happening in our love lives with this absolutely powerful thought. He said, until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life and you will call it fate. Think about it like you're the captain of a boat. You think you're steering the wheel up on the surface, but underneath, there's this massive, powerful current pushing you in a totally different direction. The hidden undercurrents of this unconscious basement are the things actually steering the boat of your love life. They're literally choosing your partners for you based on hidden fears and needs, all while you're sitting there thinking you're just getting unlucky in love. Okay, so let's actually go down into this dark basement and grab a flashlight. We really need to see what's hiding down there. Jung discovered that the human soul contains both masculine and feminine energies, completely regardless of biology. So let's shine our light first on what Jung called the anima. The anima, which is Latin for soul or breath of life, is the unconscious inner feminine energy residing inside a man's unconscious mind. It represents his capacity for real emotion, his intuition, his connection, and his tenderness. So where exactly does this anima come from? Well, it starts incredibly early. A boy's first connection with a woman is almost always his mother, and that relationship profoundly shapes this anima. If he had a warm, loving mother, his inner anima is positive. He grows up feeling pretty comfortable with his own emotions. But if his mother was cold, absent, or maybe really controlling, that inner anima gets damaged. And here's the kicker. This inner image then becomes a filter. He might unconsciously be drawn to women who treat him badly. Jung actually called this being drawn to witches. Or he might constantly seek out highly dependent women because he's desperately trying to fix his relationship with his own inner feminine side. He's basically trying to solve an internal puzzle, but he's applying it to real women out in the world. Now let's flip it and explore the female equivalent, because just as a man has an inner woman, a woman has an inner man. Jung defined this as the animus. The animus is the unconscious masculine side of a woman that acts as her inner representation of reason, logic, assertiveness, and decision-making. Ideally, this energy acts as her sword and shield, giving her the power to navigate the real world with confidence and total clarity. And just like the anima, this animus is shaped way back in childhood, primarily by a woman's father. If her father was a supportive, kind guide, her animus serves her incredibly well. But what if her father was a distant or angry tyrant? Well, her animus can become a really negative, critical wall inside her mind. So when she enters the dating world, she might consciously be saying, I absolutely hate men who control me. But unconsciously, she keeps choosing controlling men anyway. Why? Because it's a familiar dance with her inner ghost. She's essentially stepping on the toes of real men while trying to fight a battle inside her own soul. So the really crucial takeaway here is that the human soul is just incredibly complex. holding both of these masculine and feminine energies. Whether it's the anima representing the inner woman and emotion or the animus representing the inner man and logic, our early childhood deeply, deeply wires how these energies form. They literally create this invisible inner checklist for our perfect partner. And we carry this picture in our minds absolutely everywhere. To coffee shops, scrolling on dating apps, just waiting, hoping for someone to match it perfectly. Which brings us to the actual mechanics of attraction, projection. Think of a movie theater, right? The screen itself is totally blank, but a projector casts all the heroes, villains, and epic romances right onto it. In relationships, we are the projector, and our new partner, they're the blank screen. When we meet someone and feel that intense, perfect, undeniable spark, we're usually just taking our internal anima or animus and pasting it right onto a real person. We are actually falling in love with our own inner fantasy, our own missing pieces, rather than the living, breathing human beings standing right in front of us. Crazy to think about, right? Now, let's look at how this builds into the exact heartbreak we were talking about at the very beginning. Here is the classic life cycle of a doomed romance built on projection. Step 1, we project that perfect image onto someone new. Step 2, because we so desperately want the dream to be real, we're totally blind. We just ignore all the red flags, all the little inconsistencies. Step 3, time naturally passes, the magic kind of fades, and the real person's true flaws finally emerge. And step 4, the projection inevitably shatters. The lights in the movie theater turn on, we feel totally betrayed, and we wrongly point the finger at them, saying, "You changed," when in reality, they were just being themselves the whole entire time. So, if we don't understand projection, we're just going to run away, find a new screen, and repeat the whole cycle of suffering. To actually break this cycle, we have to practice what Jung called integration. And integration simply means making the self whole. Instead of desperately looking for a quote-unquote better half out there in the world to complete us, we have to find those missing pieces inside. Men have got to connect with their own emotions and nurture themselves. Women have got to find their own authority and voice. We basically have to step into our own power and reach a point where we can finally truly realize, I am enough. The ultimate goal of doing all this inner work is profound. Look at the contrast here. Unintegrated love is like two weak vines. They're desperately clinging to each other, trying to save each other out of pure need and just a sheer fear of falling. But integrated love? That is two strong, whole trees. They've got deep, steady roots of their very own. They grow side by side, witnessing each other's lives. When you're whole, you choose each other out of genuine desire, not out of some desperate need to be rescued. So practically speaking, how do we actually clean out our basement and practice this level of self-awareness? It starts by just gently pausing, without any judgment, whenever our emotions flare up. Try keeping these 4 vital questions in mind. Number 1. When you feel that intense attraction, ask, am I attracted to who they actually are, or just a fantasy? Number 2, when you're fighting, ask, is this angry feeling familiar from my past? Number 3, am I rejecting this person for small, normal human flaws just because my perfect picture is shattering? And number 4, am I taking time to build a relationship with my inner self first? Honestly, it takes practice, and you're for sure going to catch yourself projecting again. It happens. But the more you watch your own mind, the more freedom you're going to have. To wrap up this explainer, I want to leave you with this really provocative thought. The next time you feel that intense, totally familiar attraction, are you truly seeing the person in front of you, or are you just looking in a mirror? Real lasting love begins when you finally stop chasing ghosts, grab your flashlight, and realize that the key to a healthy relationship has actually been in your own pocket the entire time.